Hi everyone. After taking the quiz on Locchio's or yeah, Locchio Lorenzo's talk about how diversity makes teams more innovative, I definitely thought about it and what leadership means to me. And first thing I'm going to talk about is how Lorenzo talks about how diverse teams bring fresher, more creative ideas to the table. I've actually seen this happen firsthand, and I think many of you probably have too if you think about it. Like working on group projects in school, we all come from different backgrounds. Some of us are into art, some of us are into sports, some of us like technology. But yeah, we all come from different cultures. And I feel like at first it can take us a second to get on the same page and get used to each other. It can be a bit confusing, but once we start collaborating and mixing our perspectives, we will probably we probably won't settle for just one, the first, answer we come up with. We're probably going to end up building a project that's way more creative than any of us would have done on our own. And we're going to dig deeper, and it's going to be really cool at the end. It's cool when people don't all think the same. But yeah, another point Lorenzo made that really jumped out at me is how companies treat diversity like it's, just a box to check. So they look good. But I don't agree with that. I feel like we should be treating it as a value, or we should be valuing it more and appreciate it, because you're missing out on the whole point if you do think of it like a box to check. It should be looked at as a strategy for innovation. When you look at leadership through Simon Sinek's lens, we focus on the why behind what we do. The goal of a leader is to build an environment where everyone feels safe to share their views and be unique. And, they aren't just doing it to be polite, So we shouldn't just be following in the same routine. But yeah, Lorenzo also shared a really interesting statistic. Innovation goes up significantly, by at least 20%. It goes up significantly when at least 20% of the leadership team, are women. And I think that 20% matters because it represents the tipping point, If there was only one girl, in the leadership, it would be hard for her to get her voice heard by everyone. It puts a lot of pressure on just one voice to speak for an entire group of women. So I think it's very important to have more than one girl so that they can collaborate together and stick together and have their voice being heard. But yeah, building a diverse team isn't always easy, especially in the beginning. When people don't think the same, it can be confusing. People can feel disrespected or misunderstood. But we all need to break down our communication and build our trust, But yeah, this all just connects back to my own values as a future leader. I want to be the kind of leader who chooses diversity because it's what I want to do and not just what I need to do. I want to lead a team where people feel valued, where their voices are heard, where they feel comfortable to talk and they feel respected. I feel like that is where the best ideas are going to be created. So yeah, thank you for listening.